This is A-Game. Fast acting, long lasting, with no side effects.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So what I've got for you today is we back on Miss Tiffany Cross's head, because when I say Black women are professional victims, we got a professional trying to be a victim, and then we have the sisterhood of failure coming to try to make her a victim and plead her case publicly about why she was fired. I don't know why they're crying and whining about that, but what I've got for you is an article that I'm gonna share. I'm gonna read it out, and then we're gonna talk about this because it needs to be talked about. Okay. So, racism to blame for firing of liberal MSNBC host Tiffany Cross, claims Washington Post columnist. Washington Post columnist Karen Attiah blamed racism for MSNBC's abrupt firing of Black Weekend anchor Tiffany Cross earlier last month. In a Friday column, Attiah argued that Cross's ouster was a reminder that the rug could be pulled out from under Black journalists at any time. She added that it was a bad look in a time when attacks against Black educators, authors, and journalists are increasing across the country. The New York Post reported in early November that Cross was let go from her show, The Cross Connection with Tiffany Cross, following multiple incidents in which she repeatedly dropped inflammatory comments on the air, despite multiple warnings from execs at the network, according to a source close to the network. The report speculated that Cross's comments during a Comedy Central panel may have been the final straw. During the discussion, Cross stated, "Florida literally looks like the D of the country, so let's get rid of Florida." On her Saturday morning show, Cross routinely made inflammatory comments. She insisted that Trump supporters have started the Second American Civil War. The host called Kyle Rittenhouse, who was acquitted in the shooting deaths of Kenosha, Wisconsin rioters, a little murderous white supremacist, and claimed that Black Senator Tim Scott is thirsty for white approval because he's a Republican. Attiah implied Cross did not deserve the treatment. What treatment? This is all, everything that just got through talking about in the above paragraph is all stuff she did on air of her own volition. I'm trying to figure out the treatment. Anyways, did not deserve the treatment, characterizing her firing as her being axed for radical truth-telling. She started her column with the observation that to be a Black figure who chooses to be honest about white supremacy in this country is dangerous business. And there is no starker example of that than Tiffany Cross, whose show, The Cross Connection, was canceled last month by MSNBC and whose contract with the network wasn't renewed. I got a problem with that statement. Okay, to be a Black public figure who chooses to be honest about white supremacy in this country is dangerous business. I agree with that portion, but there's no starker example of that than Tiffany Cross. So Black public figures, she's the best example you can come up with because she was so busy telling so much truth. I mean, get out of here. Anyways, touting the importance of the Saturday show, Attiah continued, "It was also one of the few shows left on a major news network that centered on the voices of Black people and others of color." Well, if it was so important, why didn't she handle it better? Anyways, the columnist insisted Cross was victimized by conservative media outlets for her bold views, stating she was unapologetic about discussing white supremacy and did not hold back on matters of race. This, of course, drew the ire of the right-wing chattering class, who increasingly singled her out. Attiah then described the firing. Shortly after that, on November 4th, news broke that MSNBC was parting ways with Cross just days before the midterm elections. She characterized it as a stunning announcement, and particularly for Black journalists, a reminder that the rug could be pulled out from under us at any time. She added that the move was a bad look, sending the message that we can be abruptly deplatformed for stirring up the right-wing media pot. Attiah also claimed the decision revealed that Black journalists are still disposable. Columnist said the symbolism of Cross's deplatforming is all the more concerning considering the political times we live in when attacks against Black educators, authors, and journalists are increasing across the country. In the final paragraph of her piece, Atia stated, "I am surprised but not shocked that this isn't a bigger story for U.S. media journalists." She then concluded, if this can happen to Cross, all Black journalists are on shaky ground. So I'm going to stop sharing and we're just going to come back to it because that is ridiculous. That whole article was just stupid, especially after we covered the fact that Tiffany had it out for her supervisors, right? Which was a Black woman. And she wanted to, quote, destroy the network, right? Remember that? Okay. So I don't know why whoever this hyena is really trying to circle the wagons around Tiffany Cross and her firing. Okay. They're really trying to rally all this chaos around Tiffany's firing as if it were wrongful. But I didn't see any wrongful firing. Number one, let's do this. Companies always tell their employees that they can be fired typically without any reason. So they don't really owe her an explanation for letting her go. Because if your average 9-to-5 entry-level worker can just be let go and just told, you know what, we don't need your services without too much of an explanation, what makes Tiffany Cross think she's any better than that? And what makes any of the women who are coming to her defense, Joy Reid, any of them, coming to her defense, what makes them think that she's any better than that? And in point of fact, what makes them think they're any better than that? Just because you on TV? Just because these institutions got you in front of a camera as a talking puppet, as a talking head, you think somehow you've gained some type of status and they're not supposed to bother you? Girl, you're more bought than anybody. You're more owned than anybody. You better do what they say. Like you're on shaky ground pretty much. You're not on a platform of your own creation. MSNBC was established long before Tiffany Cross. And they'll be here after her. They still going strong. They're not crying. They let her go. They didn't renew that contract and they don't care. Nobody, I doubt anybody that was in a position of letting her go or renewing her contract or not has lost a wink of sleep about Tiffany Cross not being there anymore. They were probably glad to get rid of her because they actually gave a reason. They told everybody, they told the world why. Listen, she gets on air. She talks out the side of her neck. We're not going to continue to cover for her. We've spoken to her in the back offices. The execs have talked to her. We've explained to her why her comments can't be really tolerated by the network and that we're not going to really back it. She's got to watch what she says. And then she gets on camera and go off script. That's her business. That is her problem. She did that to herself. She should have been got to be more careful. She should have been more careful than that then. Who she thinks she is? You don't get to get on these people's platform and say what you want to say. And especially if they warn you. That's just like me being on here and I done got several warnings from YouTube about my content. Let's just say, you know, I got a strike and I did this and that, and you still not making any adjustments. Don't be surprised if you come through one day and the channel's gone. If you don't like that, then you either got to watch what you're doing, make sure you're within the guidelines, or you can create your own platform and see, can you get your message out like that? So stop whining and crying. So that's number one. Companies don't have to explain it, even though MSNBC actually did. No accountability for her behavior, okay? Her on-air public actions, her intentions to try to bring the company down and all of this type of stuff. You covering it up. Oh, racism was the reason why they let her go. No, she acting a fool in that job. That's why they let her go. You cannot come to work and do what you want to do. You have to come to work and do, first of all, your job. Second of all, you've got to do your job in a way that the company that hires you approves of you doing your job. And if they start complaining about how you're going about doing your job, if you don't make adjustments, just wait for the axe. Just wait for the axe. to try to cover it up with racism and say that racism is a basis for her firing actually removes any responsibility from her. So what about what she says? What about getting on those platforms, getting on her show, going to other shows? What about her launching verbal attacks, throwing shade, firing shots at other journalists who are on other platforms? What about that? So what we're not going to do, like we're not going to hold her responsible for her own actions as a grown employed woman. This woman is not some child. This is a grown woman. She's been in journalism for quite a few years. She doesn't know. She doesn't know how to behave. She doesn't know how to walk that line between the kind of controversy that your network will back because it brings ratings and it brings viewership versus the kind of controversy that they got to let you go for. As a journalist, you have to understand that line. You've got to know your audience and you've got to know the network that you're on. You have to understand which dynamics work and which don't. Okay? So what you're saying to me is that her actions don't do anything. It yields not supposed to have any consequences. MSNBC was supposed to keep her because she was a Black woman, and then that's it. She can say inflammatory things, and the network was just going to have to deal with it. That don't work. That doesn't work in Zaddy's world. It has worked up until recently in Black culture, where Black women get to do what they want, be inflammatory, be out of control. And people still got to deal with her no matter what. When you cross that line and you go over into Zaddy's world, they don't play with you like that. They don't. Okay? The other thing that I noticed is that these same Black women aren't speaking out against the Black men that are going through public lynchings right now. They can choose any one of them. Kyrie, if you don't like Kyrie, Kanye, if you don't like Kanye, I mean, it's a few Black men being targeted publicly. They back on Bill Cosby. I just saw an article just a couple minutes ago. I just saw an article. It was a little while before I got here and to do this. They back on Bill Cosby. I assume paying some other women to say that he raped them or whatever, assaulted them in some kind of way. They back trying to get that man. That's an old man. Okay? So I don't see any of these women coming out and saying it's wrong that the Nets are trying to punish Kyrie for just posting a link. It's wrong to suspend him and basically mess with his money because you don't like something that he tweeted. It's wrong for these Black men to be unfairly targeted for having viewpoints you don't like. They're really coming after Kanye. They're really coming after Kanye. You do not have to agree with what Kanye says. You don't have to agree with what he does or how he lives his life, but he should have a right to do so without the institution coming for him. They're really trying to break him in so many ways. They're breaking his reputation and they're spinning it in the news to have people mad at him. People are more upset at Kanye than they were at Harvey Weinstein or that Epstein guy. Way more upset. Way more upset. For some comments and some thoughts and opinions that belong to Kanye. Okay? That type of thing. They like being professional victims is my point. And they will go to any length to be chaotic and out of order and then make themselves a victim. After that, she got canned. Okay? Crying about it, whining about it is not going to change that. The institutions are publicly lynching Black men, but they are also just a little bit quieter, just a little bit more quietly. They're letting Black women know that you are not loved, you are not liked, you are not needed, and you are not wanted either. See, we can get along without you too. We no longer need you to be the mouthpiece that we've wanted you to be, because the Black community is pretty much on the brink of just complete annihilation. You did your job pretty good. Now we're gonna turn around and you just boot you out of these places that we propped you up on, because you're only in these positions because we prop you up and we say so. And so when we're done saying so, and when we're done propping you up, you get boop off of the little pedestal that you thought you were on. Isn't that so awesome? Too bad. Like I said, crying will not make Zaddy's institutions feel sorry for you, nor will it make him rethink or revise the position that he gave you and now snatching from you. She was right when she said, you snatched the rug out from under you. You just not figured that out. You just not figured out Zaddy. He had the power to give it to you, and he had the power to take it away. You think Tiffany Cross is going to be able to sit up there on those networks and talk crazy about the hand and bite the hand that feed her? You want to talk bad about white supremacy? Don't you know that's the whole system that's got you sitting where you sitting? We'll show you. You don't come over here and scoop no back foot dirt on me. I gave you the back feet that you got. You come over here and scoop dirt. Right. I'll cut them off. We'll see what kind of dirt you scoop now. Just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. The other thing I want to bring to everybody's attention is the fact that you can now go to crimsoncure.com and pick up your copy of my new book, Reclaiming the Black Feminine, Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery. Go right to crimsoncure.com, make your purchase for the book. And also it's available on Amazon as well. So you can go right to Amazon and get the digital version of the book. On the website, you're going to get the physical version of the book. So all you got to do is go into the description box and click the link crimsoncure.com to get your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine. This is a powerful work that's really, hopefully, going to be very transformative for a lot of people that read it in a very positive way. So please go ahead and click that link, crimsoncure.com, and go and get your copy today. Also, we are running the petition against Black Lives Matter. We are looking to get to our goal of 15,000, well, not our goal, but our next milestone of 15,000 signatures, okay? And our goal is 100,000 signatures. And we are still actively working on that 6-step initiative, okay, in order to bring support and bring awareness to the things that the Black communities all across the United States really need, all of the help and the support that we need. So if you want to become a part of this wonderful initiative and the petition that we have, please go ahead and get down into the description box for that as well. Click the link for the petition, sign it, share it, contribute to it. Also, jump down in the comment section and let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Cyber Monday is the official launch date for Kendra Davis's Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, as well as her new website, crimsoncure.com.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.